All right, let's go ahead and get started in a minute, y'all. Y'all see the titles, The Dangers of Being Off Code. We're going to examine this through a different couple key figures and things that's been going on, recently and even in the past. This is Jay Dizzle, in case you don't know, also known as Nettercat. You know what I'm saying? Check out Black I Stand Radio and all that good stuff. But what I want to do is I want to get into this discussion. Hopefully we get out some feedback. If you end up watching this on the YouTube channel, Jay Dizzle, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this. Participate in the conversation. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the dangers of being off code, because I understand that, especially with this Farrakhan and the recent passing of Nipsey and some of the things that some of us will say. I believe sometimes people actually sincerely thinking that they're helping the cause, or that they're just expressing themselves, or that they don't understand that they're actually being off code. But when I say off code, let me give you an example of what I mean by being off code. And I'm going to first give you an example of people who are not off code for no reason at all. You won't catch them slipping. You won't catch them lacking. For instance, let's take the Catholic Church, for instance. Now, the Catholic Church for centuries have been abusing children and women sexually. They've been sexually abusing, raping women and children for centuries. They participated in the slave trade. It's the Catholic Church. But how often do you ever hear Catholic people airing out their dirty laundry to the general public? You won't really see that. Matter of fact, you'll see popes giving clemency or pardoning bishops who they know have molested hundreds of children, because they're going to stay on code. When we talk about these 2939ers, also known as small hats, we know that they have a ritual when a baby boy is born, that they'll actually do a circumcision with their mouth. So in essence, they'll suck a baby's penis. You've seen on the news for a split second them being involved in organ trafficking. All the treacherous things that they do on the daily, but you will not see other Jewish people outing them in public. You won't see it, because they're going to stay on code. They understand to get off code, being the minority of the minority, for them to be off code even for a moment could be the detriment of their whole race. So they will not be off code. We don't really see other nationalities or ethnicities that will out themselves or out their leaders in public, even if they have a disagreement. Unfortunately, what we see in our community, I'm going to go ahead and use Farrakhan as the first example, that people will actually disrespect, denounce Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam, as if there's no good things about them, but for their own personal and a lot of times petty reasons, they're going to go against the fact that millions of people, like I challenge y'all this, for y'all that really want to be on this hate Farrakhan, hate NOI, and you think you're doing it for a righteous purpose. You think you're actually helping Black people in our community by doing that. But let me first of all say that when you're doing this on Facebook and other social medias that's owned by our enemies, you're making us all vulnerable. I need you to understand something when it comes to this Farrakhan, especially with this Farrakhan ban from social media and all these things. First of all, it's not really hurting Farrakhan or the Nation of Islam that they're no longer allowed on Facebook or Instagram, or that they're pulling their books from Amazon. It doesn't hurt them. Farrakhan's been had his own media for 60 years now. Everybody already knows who he is. He's a factor. He does not need the social media for his message. That's number one. Just understand that. So it's not really an attack against him. Understand that when they see him, they see us. It's similar to how, if you've seen the Savior's Day this year, he went into how he was traveling all over Africa and the so-called Middle East, and these heads of states were treating him like a king. They were giving him royal treatment that they've never given presidents. They were giving him all kinds of royal treatment, letting him know, look, even two Jewish rabbis said that he is the Messiah. They gave him a plaque. Let me just break this down for you. It don't matter what you think about this dude, because they're not doing that because of him. They're not doing that because of Elijah or because of Master Prophet Muhammad. They're doing it because of you. They're doing it because of us. They understand that he represents us. If he didn't represent us, he wouldn't have the value. Not that he don't have value, but he wouldn't have the value. They're doing it because they recognize us in our rise and what we're supposed to be doing and what we're due. They recognize him as a representative, so they're giving him the highest regards. In other words, by proxy, they're honoring us. Know that. So at the same time, when you see a Facebook and an Instagram that's banning him, they're not banning him because of him, because he does not need this platform. Let's keep it real. They're banning him as a direct attack against us. Once they take him down, then they could easily start picking at the rest of us as they've already been doing. I need you to understand that. So when you guys are going against the grain and getting off code in public, all you're really doing is showing them the infighting that they're going to exploit, because they always do. So it really makes us all vulnerable. When you go against people because you don't agree with petty things, but understand that our enemies do understand their value. They understand the value. So when they see that we're going against that, all we're doing is leaving an opening. This is how shitty cousins are born. You're leaving an opening for them to come in, exploit, and magnetize whatever differences we have. It's the same thing that happens with the black men and black women. And it makes us both vulnerable, particularly our women. That's why I be trying to tell these sisters, let's don't be up on here and just shitting on every black man and shitting on your ex, and don't be shitting on your ex to your new dude and your new circle of people that you're fucking with. Don't do that, because what you're doing is making yourself vulnerable. Because when they see you don't have respect for them, for someone who you should have respect for, because it might be your ex-husband or someone you have a child with, when they see that you'll disrespect him like that, they know that you'll do the same to them. So all of a sudden, they ain't trusting you out the gate. Second thing is, they also know, if you'll do that, they know that you ain't really probably got any back. So now if they want to cross game and violate you in some kind of way, it's open season, because you basically let them know that you're detached from any type of power or any type of anything that should be having your back by default, because you're showing a lack of loyalty to them, a lack of respect to them. They're going to assume that's going to be the same way the other way coming. You're leaving yourself vulnerable. This is the vulnerability of being off code. This is what it creates. Like, let's look at the Nipsey Hussle situation. This is somebody who's doing some good things. I don't care if y'all can't understand it, because y'all may not be from the West Coast. Y'all might not understand, saying the nuances. So all you see is a Crip, and, he's cripping, and, he may use some foul language and this, but you can't understand that what he was doing was communicating to other people that came from the same lane he came from. You feel me? And because of that, now these two groups are joining together. You have different sets of Crips coming together with Bloods, with GD. You're seeing this thing happen right now. That's huge. That's huge, because you have to understand that Crips and Bloods were birthed out of the Panther movement, not out of the struggle in the first place. They got derailed by the FBI and by the police. Now they're coming back to the essence. That means they already have a built-in military, a built-in protocol, built-in organization. And now when they stand up for that right shit, now they could be on the block. And can't no one or two cops come through and regulate and start violating people's human rights when there's 50 rolling 60s or 50, 8 trays, or, Pyrus or whatever. Now we can control our communities again on the right path. So when you downplay a truce, when you downplay that work, when you downplay the power of that, you're not understanding that you're aiding and abetting the enemy, because they definitely don't want to see this happen. So they're going to exacerbate it. This is what they do every time there's a truce on the West Coast, every single time. They do everything in their power to undermine that, to devalue that. So what do you think you're doing when you're going against the grain, against your own people's best interest over your petty differences? You're undermining, you're disrupting the activities of Black nationalism. In case you don't know, that was written in the counterintelligence program of 1967 by J. Edgar Hoover. You're actually fulfilling that capacity. So that's what I'm saying. At this point, it don't even matter if you understand. I know that some of y'all that's participating in this fuckery, I understand some of y'all don't realize that it's fuckery. You think you're really doing the right thing by saying, oh, fuck Farrakhan. Even John Henry Clark didn't like him. Dr. Sebi didn't like him. Who gives a fuck? They never went to the national news and said this shit. They said this in confined areas with our people. Just so happens some of our people had cameras, and now it's accessible because of the internet. But when they said these things, if they did have differences, they never said them publicly around our enemies. So y'all going to Facebook saying this shit, you might as well be going to Fox News and saying it. You might as well be sitting in the anchor chair on Fox News saying this shit. It's off code. Other people don't be off code like this, man. And that's why they're winning. We got to understand this shit. Let me just hit on this Sabi situation with some of the things he said about Farrakhan and this and that. Let me just hit on this for a sec. I love Dr. Sabi, man. I know people who, because of Dr. Sabi, they have changed their health. I don't know if we can prove that he cured cancer and all this. I don't know. But what I do know for a fact is I know people personally that because of his teachings, because of his dietary regimen and the things that he taught, have actually changed their health for the better. So we got to give him props for that. And because of that, he's a doctor. I don't care if he's accredited by them folks. He don't have to be for me to respect what he done. However, when he went to Farrakhan or the Nation of Islam with his diet thing, what do you think that Farrakhan's really going to say? Understand that there's been Eat to Live 1 and 2 out since the 60s. It's pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much the same thing anyway. So why would he need to implement Dr. Sabi shit when they already got the Elijah Muhammad's foundation of dietary and health already? Same thing, don't eat meats, but he gave us a pass because he knew we probably didn't have the discipline not to eat meat. So he said at least eat clean meat and definitely don't eat the swine. He said don't drink cow milk. However, you know, since we know you are, at least try to get the best ones that you can. So they didn't really need to implement that. I'm sorry if Dr. Sabi caught feelings over that. I still love him. I still respect what he done. But you don't use, you know what I'm saying? Because some of y'all like to use other pillars of our community in order to justify your undermining another one. But understand, they didn't do that publicly on other people's platforms. Understand that. And then let's understand that if you want to keep it real, y'all ain't even following the footsteps of these people who you want to use to justify your fuckery and your being off code. Y'all ain't really riding with these people. You ain't really riding with Malcolm X. You never would have ridden with Malcolm X. Let's keep it real. So like when we see the situation that happened in Texas, just understand that this vulnerability, this off-codeness, this divide that we have can be exploited. So they're going to feel a little bit more comfortable. I mean, understand this, when we're not fortifying up, that's what these white supremacists do. These police, these white supremacists, so-called, this is what they do. Think about it. Dylan Roof claimed that black men were raping white women. That's why he was upset. But he went to a church. 60% of the people in that room are women. All of them unarmed, all of them praying in the most vulnerable position they could be in when he fucking attacked. He did not go to one of the blocks where our people be at in South Carolina. He didn't go there. All these white supremacists, when they like to catch us slipping and lacking, vulnerable by ourselves, unfortified. They don't come to the hood. They don't come to the hood and start acting a fool. They don't come when we're fortified as Panthers or RBGs or whatever. They don't come to Crip neighborhoods, the Blood neighborhoods. They don't come when we're fortified and ready. They come when we're vulnerable stragglers. That's what they do. Just know that. So all you're doing with this off-codeness is you're continuing that legacy of us widening and becoming more separate and less fortified. And that's what emboldens them. Think about what happened in Dallas a few years ago. The white supremacist was trailblazing to a mosque. They wanted to burn this mosque. They wanted to act a fool. They was armed. What happened? Huey P. Newton, New Black Panther Party, other armed, you know what I'm saying, black paramilitary organizations and individuals was like, let's go. They backed the fuck up. Look what happened in South Carolina during the time when they was taking down those Confederate flags. You had the Huey P. Newton Gun Club. You had New Black Panther Party. You had some Bloods and Crips from the area. You had some fortified armed black men. At the same time as the KKK. KKK got their ass stomped out. You know what I'm saying? Left running with their tails tucked behind their whatever the fuck. They got smashed. They got smashed up because they ain't trying to fuck with us when we're ready. They don't want to fuck with us when there's a good chance that they may lose their life. That's when they back the fuck up. So the only thing that's gonna, listen, the solution is very simple. It's Garveyism, it's Pantherism. It's the foundation that's already been laid and sticking to the script and staying on code. That's the only way. It's the only way. I don't care what you claim, that is the only fucking way. It ain't even gonna take all of us, because all of us ain't gonna be on code. Some of us ain't, but those of us who are have to back up from the ones that ain't on code, man. It don't matter. You don't think that I have things about the NOI, about Farrakhan that I don't agree with? Of course, man. Thing is, you want to know, we can talk about that in public, but no cameras and no audio recording. We're not going to do it on Facebook. We're not going to do it on Twitter. I'm not going to go to their news and tell them how much I don't like another black organization, even if I don't. You don't think there's other black organizations that I don't fuck with? You ain't going to hear me talk about that publicly, just like our greats didn't talk about it publicly. The only person who did was Malcolm X. Much as I love him, but he did, man. He went against his own teachings when he went to the news and talked about how much he didn't like Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. He wasn't supposed to do that. And at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, some of y'all who act like you're so concerned with what happens within the new Black Panther Party, you're upset about some shit that you don't know, that you ain't fucking privy to know, ain't your goddamn business, and y'all do the same thing with the Nation of Islam. Let's just keep it real. All y'all that talk that shit never supported us in the first damn place. You wasn't riding with us. You wasn't with us. So let our business be our business. Let the Nation of Islam's business be their business. But if you really want to speak about this, but here's how I know that some of y'all only get your information. You don't get it from the source. You don't get it from black media. And black media is winning right now. Actually, as a people, we're winning right now. You don't know this if all you watch is CNN and Fox. If you're in the trenches or if you're tapped in, then you know we ain't losing like you think we're losing. We're creating change. Black media, black organizations, the grassroots, the movement, we're creating change, man. Why do you think they're talking about reparations right now at the highest seats of office? Why do you think that they have to throw away some of these cats that ain't no good? Because we're exposing them, because we're on our shit. That's why. So understand, when y'all only get your information from our enemy, of course you're going to say that the NOI and Farrakhan killed Malcolm X. But it's interesting that people that were there ain't saying that. It's interesting that Malcolm X's daughter ain't saying that. But I guess you know more than his daughter knows, right? It's interesting that the person that was convicted, the only person who actually admitted to being part of it, he ain't saying that. But I guess y'all know more than the people that was actually there. I guess 60 years later, y'all just know more than the people that was actually present. Cut it out, man. These are just simple things, man. I mean, if you don't understand those principles, then how dare you open your fucking mouth? You're going against the grain, man. You're leaving us all vulnerable. So we have to say something about it. There's plenty of people, and you seen me go in on some cats that I don't necessarily agree with. But if you peep the context of what I'm saying, I'll never take the value of what they've already added out. You know what I'm saying? To do that is some bitch shit. I gotta say it. Some of y'all are some bitch ass niggas by doing this shit. Y'all do what bitches do. Let's keep it real. And when I say bitch, I'm not trying to disrespect the females, but when they're on their lower self, they're bitches. Just like when we're on lower self, we're niggas. It happens sometimes. There ain't no less love. But I'm gonna give you an example of what bitches will do when they're mad. You might have just saved their child's life. And look, some of y'all are gonna hear this. I know some people are gonna see this, and you know, I'm only using these personal experiences just so people can understand what I'm saying. You might have just saved a sister's son's life, taking him to the hospital the day before. You might have just broke her off with chips. You might have just did whatever, and she was praising you. And then she gets mad at you on some emotional shit. All of a sudden, you ain't never done shit. You ain't never there for me. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, we're gonna let you get away with that because you're a sister. I'm gonna let you get away with that. And then when cooler heads prevail, you're gonna come. You know, woo, woo. I understand that. But that is some shit. We can accept that from our females, but I can't accept that from y'all so-called men. I can't accept that from y'all. Talking about you're gonna lead this movement, talking about you're down with this and that. That's some bitch ass shit. So all of a sudden now you don't fuck with the NBPP, you don't fuck with the NOI. So now there's nothing that they've ever done that's ever been good. That's that bitch shit. Let's keep it real. That's some bitch ass shit. But at the same time, most of the people that are saying this, they ain't doing shit anyway. They ain't involved in shit. And it's obvious that they don't study anything that doesn't come from our enemies. They don't have any information that didn't come from our enemies, or they couldn't say silly shit like MLK was a coon. They couldn't say silly shit like Malcolm X was killed by Farrakhan and Nation of Islam. You're gonna just go ahead and take the government's responsibility off the table now? And you're supposed to be, that's not being on code, man. At least it's all vulnerable when you're not on code like that, man. At least it's all vulnerable. for them to be able to see us bickering and fighting amongst ourselves, disrespecting those who they can't wait to try to take down. Do you not notice? Just peep this. Do you not notice that every time there's a big campaign against one of our people and we get involved, the next thing you know that happens is the government or the media or somebody attacks them? Did you not see that happen with Bill Cosby? They wanted Bill Cosby for a minute. When they see that opening, when another brother, fellow comedian, said some shit that he said. He said it in a slummy, ran down ass comedy club. No way that shit should have went viral. But goddamn it, it was there. Viral, boom. Now let's attack them. Now let's go ahead and hit them. Boo, boo. They already wanted them. But he got the opening once he did that, and once we started talking shit about Bill Cosby, all of a sudden now the opening is there. Now it doesn't look like it's racist. Now we get to complete our objectives. Same thing happened with Umar. As soon as all y'all niggas start making all this noise about, oh, yeah, next thing you know, Philadelphia State wants to see him. Same thing with the Garvey, if you know your history. This is what they do. They wait until we get off code, and now they can start boom, boom. They can put shit in place that they've already wanted to do in place. The only thing is, if they do it themselves, we can see it for what it is. We'll identify it for what it is, and then we'll fortify ourselves against that, and it won't be effective. This is why they had to make sure that there was angry black Muslims around when Malcolm X was killed, because if it was just them, and then everybody who he was either mad or loved Malcolm X would have turned against them, we would have seen what the fucking problem was. But as long as they could use us, just like the shitty cuz. For all y'all that want to say that the government killed Nipsey Hussle and the police killed Nipsey Hussle, and I won't argue against that, but I will say this. The fact that they were able to use a black face to do it is only because we're off code. It's a shitty cuz. And a lot of y'all are shitty cuz in the making. Because of your anger towards certain individuals or organizations, what happens if somebody gives you a bag? Huh? Oh, you're doing the right thing by doing this because Farrakhan's not really for your people. You know that. Yeah, you know that. You've seen it. I've seen you say it. Next thing you know, you turn into shitty cuz. And you might think that you're actually doing something good. But at this point, like I said, it don't matter if you don't know. If you're that damn ignorant at this point, you're still a detriment to the movement. You got to get over there. Real talk. If you do know, then you already know you're a detriment. If you're fulfilling the counterintelligence program, whether you know it or not, the effects are the same. You got to go. That's all it is, man. We can't have that. We're at a time right now where we're right at the tip of shit. We got the reparation shit popping. We're starting to get a little bit of justice for these police killings. You're seeing a monumental law passed in Washington State. Now, understand something. If you don't know about the law I'm talking about, and I know you probably don't, understand because it's so monumental, they're not gonna, it should have been like headline news all over the country, CNN, Fox, all them niggas should have been just reporting this shit. They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna show you that, yo, a black man headed a movement to get a monumental law change, first time in US history for a state to now be able to convict police officers like they convict common people. You think they're gonna let you know that in California, in Georgia, in Alabama, in Virginia, in Illinois? They're not gonna let you know that shit. If you ain't tapped in, then you ain't gonna know that shit. But why are they gonna show you your victories? They ain't gonna show you I told you this. That's why we gotta control our own narrative. Black Guy Stand Radio, Liberation Minded Media. We gotta control our own narrative, because if not, they're only gonna feed us our defeats. They're only gonna take our infighting, package it up, and reserve it to us so we think that that's the only value and that's the only thing we do. So therefore, you can see two sisters fighting till their weeds fall off all day, and that's gonna get 5 million views. You can see two brothers acting a fool somewhere, pants sagging and shit, that's gonna get millions of views. But are they gonna show you? Do you know that do you know that the president actually tweeted a picture of the new Black Panther Party, maybe a year or so ago, helping out with the floods? No, he didn't know that's who he was tweeting, but he tweeted that shit. Now imagine if people knew who that was. Imagine how much that would have neutralized some of the people who think, oh, they're just racist, anti-Semitic. They would have seen that kind of shit and they would maybe be a little bit more willing to support it. You know what I'm saying? You know, I've been on the news plenty of times, me and some of my comrades, getting at these police. Yeah, we was emotional when they killed our sister up in North Seattle. We was pissed. And we had the community behind us. We had street organizations behind us. We was ready to take it to these cats. And the shit was on camera. The shit was on the news. But they only showed a very little bit of it. They did not show you fearless black men ready to get at these motherfuckers. They did not show that. They showed a quick clip, boom, fuck, get that shit off of there. Because you think they're gonna show courageous black men ready to stand up for their people so it might inspire some of y'all? So it might inspire some other people? No, they're not showing you that. They'll show you with your hands up. Oh, hands up. Oh, it's gonna change someday. I'm not saying anything's wrong with marching and all that, because it's really not if you do it right. But what I'm saying is they'll show you the passive. They'll show you the defeats. They'll show you their victories, because this is psychological warfare. As long as you think you can't win, you're not even going to try to fight. That's the strategy. Understand that. So when there's courageous people, and if you think that this taking Farrakhan off of social media has to do with him, it don't. It has to do with you. It has to do with me. It has to do with neutralizing black voices. Yes, they'll even take some of the coons off. The idea is to neutralize black voices. Remember, in warfare, before you go to war, as I spoke about yesterday, you devalue the people you're going to go to war against. You make them less than human. You make them insurgents and all these other words you never heard of. They're terrorists. They're this and that. Why? Because it's going to be easier for the people to stomach a mass genocide of a people who are just insurgents. Oh, today 40 insurgents were dead. The fucking insurgent? They didn't say 40 husbands and some children and some wives. No, it was insurgents. The fuck is an insurgent? I don't know what an insurgent is, whatever. Oh, they're terrorists. Well, shit. They're terrorists. Oh, they're super predators. Oh, they're thugs. Oh, they're niggas. And on that same token, we can devalue what they say is good. We can devalue their media. We can devalue their government. We can devalue their oppressive behavior. That will make it a little easier for us to maneuver. Because we ain't really going against the government. We're going against operatives of white supremacy, oppressors. We're going against oppressors. We're not going against a legitimate government. We're not speaking about the media. We're speaking about a bunch of liars, the fake news. You dig? Then it's a little bit easier to understand why this has less value and why we should take it in with less value and with a grain of salt, and maybe why we should value some of the things that we're doing. Maybe we should value some of the things that our people are doing in media, some of the things that our people are doing in activism. It's not the Red Cross. There's real cats out here doing real shit. And when we start looking at it like that, and we stop giving so much value to those that oppose us, and a little bit more value to ourselves and each other, all of a sudden now we start to build a momentum. This is already happening. I'm not here to give you bad news. I'm here to let you know this is already happening. You're not going to be aware of this, though, if the only value you have comes from sources outside of yourself. If the only validation, if you need validation, I was speaking to a brother not too long ago. He started getting at me like, whoa, all because he needed white people to validate a Malcolm X Day. I'm like, why the hell do you need them to validate a Malcolm X Day, man? If we say it's valid, it's valid. Fuck what they're talking about. It's that silly shit. It's just, oh, well, they gave us a Martin Luther King Day because he's a coon. First of all, they didn't give us no Martin Luther King Day. We took that shit and made it a day. They finally acknowledged it in the 90s or early 2000s. Don't get it twisted. They didn't give us Black History Month. We created that. They didn't give us our freedom. That was black soldiers that rode on those crackers in the South. That's what freed our people. Don't ever give credit to somebody else for what we did, and don't look for their validation. That's all I'm saying. We can validate ourselves. This ain't about hate. I can care less how you feel about somebody, your emotions, but this is just about practicalities and understanding. And the original point is we have to stay on code. Not to be on code makes us all vulnerable. You think that you're doing something righteous by disrespecting a movement or disrespecting a person or organization or jumping on our enemy's side when they're going against this person, but you're only making ourselves all vulnerable. You're making us all vulnerable. Because once they can pick off certain people, everybody else is just food. Once they see that we're off code and that we don't even respect those who sacrifice for us, when they see that, they know that we're food. Well, they ain't ready. You'll never, ever. You don't hear these people going against their own leaders, man. No matter how nasty and atrocious they behave. They gave Dylan Roof $4.2 million for murdering 9 black people in the damn church. That's called being on code. These police officers, Dan Wilson, got hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why? Because they're on code. They're not going to flame him on the public. Who knows what they really think about him? Who knows what some of these politicians really think about each other? They got a lot of dirt they can really be bringing out, but they only do it in the political realm because that's just all the game. But when it comes to us, we'll attack each other for a lot less. Our leaders ain't out here raping boys and raping girls and doing all that foul shit. They ain't doing that. But y'all come, you know what I'm saying? We all come on Mark Zuckerberg's platform to flame your own people. That's backwards, man. That leaves us all vulnerable. All vulnerable. I've had conversations in real time, face to face with people I fuck with, who don't really fuck with Farrakhan. And I told them, look, man, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say to me. You can say whatever you want to say in the privacy of our meetings or privacy of when we're doing our thing, but don't you dare take that shit to our enemies' fucking platforms and do that. Fuck out of here. We're going to stay on code. And those of us who are, we're the ones that's going to win. Y'all going to be some of y'all going to be left over there, man, when the shit gets real. That's just what it is. You're putting us all in danger. You want to know why? You want to know why that some of these cats will actually go against Donald Trump? You want to know the facts? The reason why some of these cats actually don't like Donald Trump and go against him, it ain't because he's racist. Or like there's never been a racist in the White House before. That ain't fucking why. It ain't because he's a sexist, as if there's never been a sexist in the White bullshit. It ain't even because he's corrupt. It ain't even because some of the shenanigans. That's not even why. The reason is because he's sloppy about it. That's why they go against him. Think about, was it Goodfellas? Think about the movie Goodfellas, man. If y'all seen that movie, remember when they did that big bank sting and that couple came in a brand new Cadillac, brand new fur coats, and Robert De Niro was like, yo, I told you don't buy no new fucking shit, man. The fuck are you doing? You gonna blow up the spot? Oh, no. We're just gonna say that it was a gift for a wedding. They whacked them. They both ended up whacked that same day. Why? Is it because they're criminals? No, because they're all criminals. It's because they're gonna blow up the fucking spot. You're being sloppy like that. You're gonna make the spot hot. Now everybody's gonna know that we're all fucking crooks. The same thing going on in politics right now. They ain't mad at Donald Trump for the superficial dumbass shit. You may think they're mad about it. They're mad because he's blowing up the spot. Because what happens when we see how corrupt this is, and then we see it's not just Donald Trump. He ain't the only one that's racist. He ain't the only one with shenanigans. He's not the only one. It's all of them. They can't allow that shit to happen. You ain't gonna fuck off our shit, homie. You gotta get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Let's keep it real, because he's not polished. You understand? He's not used to having to play the game and this and that. So he's not polished. He's gonna be a little more sloppy. He's gonna be a little bit more brazen. He's gonna say what he really feels, and he's not gonna filter that shit like they will. So he's blowing up the spot. He's making them all vulnerable. That's the only reason why they would turn on him, because they understand that to be off code leaves them all vulnerable. That's my fucking point. Make sure you share this like this. Let me see what's up. What's up, Sean? What's up, Queen? Stay ready. You don't have to get ready. Apple Freeman, what's up? Amarachi Simpson, what's up? Yeah, that's what it is, man. So all I'm saying is this: stay on code, get organized, get fortified, because when they see us fortified, they don't even fuck with us. They rather fuck with the weaklings. They rather fuck with those who are off code, lacking by themselves. That's the only thing. That's the only people these so-called white supremacists go after. Do you notice that? They don't come after us when we're fortified. They don't come in our communities with that bullshit. But they catch you slipping in theirs by yourself, and they know that you ain't disciplined. They know that you know, that's when they'll come after you. And you typically they'll only do that when they have numbers on you. So that should let you know that there's strength and unity, and that being on code fortifies us all. When they know that they can pick somebody off and we ain't gonna care, they're gonna go ahead and pick them off, but they ain't gonna be picking them off. That's actually by proxy attack against you, because that's what's next. That's what it is. Jay Dizzle, Netter Cat. Share this, chime in, tap in, Black Guy Stand Radio, New Black Panther Party. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to give y'all some of these tools so that when you see this off-code behavior, you know how to respond to it properly, not react, but you'll know how to respond to it properly. Because some of these things are necessary. Let's just keep it real. The divide is necessary. The separation is necessary. We speak about separating from the rest of these cats and trying to do our own thing. But before we do that, we have to separate from those amongst ourselves that would be detrimental to the movement. So we can't go and build Black Wall Streets again, which we still do have black towns, believe that. We still have black towns, about 20 of them altogether that I know about, a dozen of them in Oklahoma alone that I know about. So we still have these things, but we can't go and create these things without being able to recognize who's not with us and who's with us. We have to be able to recognize that and separate from them. Because if not, if they're left to linger with us, those are the same ones that our enemies are going to use against us. Those are those shitty cousins that we let linger too long, that now these cats can get at, put a bag in their hand, and because they put the value of a bag more than the value of the progression of their people as a whole, now they'll do some ignorant shit. So we can't allow that. We have to neutralize them. We have to separate. We have to make them uncomfortable to be around us. We have to make them know that there's a penalty, death before dishonor. And that's what it is. We can't build a nation like that. But you know what? It's kind of getting late, and I do got something I got to do. I got a meeting I got to get. I got a meeting. Got to get at before it's too late. So that's all I want to say. It's J Dizzle, Netter Cat. New Black Panther Party, Black Guy Stand Radio. Share this, like this, comment on it, add on to it. Check out my new channel, J Dizzle on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably be on that a little bit later. I'm out. Peace.